What's going on, guys? Play Gaming here, back with another Epic 7 video, and today we're talking about Seaside Bellona or SSB tips, tricks, guide, builds, all that good stuff. Here we go. So Seaside Bellona is here with her summer banner dropping, and I know a lot of people are going in on the SSB banner. This is something that I highly recommend that you don't skip. This is a unit that has been tested, tried, and can work really well in a lot of situations. Mainly Wyvern 13, getting into Wyvern. That's going to be her first use, I think, if you are starting the game. That's going to be one of the biggest reasons that you're pulling for Seaside Bellona. Other than she's limited, you always want to get at least one copy of every limited unit, because you never know if they're going to come back around or when they're going to come back around. Based on the limiteds that we've had, they've come around like once a year. So if you don't end up picking her up now, you're going to have to wait a whole year to be able to pick her up again. And even then, it's not guaranteed that she's going to come back. But with her and her banner, you are getting a chance at picking up Reingar Special Drink. This is an artifact that I would say is a must-have. At least one copy, especially if you ever want to break into PvP. Even for Guild Wars or GVG, having Drink on her as her main artifact is going to increase the amount of damage that she can deal towards the enemy. And so Reingar Special Drink here, it's an artifact, 5-star artifact that gives her the ability to inflict additional damage after attacking. And with the way SSB works is that when she's proccing her passive, she's doing that additional attack S3 every time that she hits you with those counters, not counters, with her passive. You're going to be dealing additional damage, and then the damage is based on the caster's attack. So if you build her really high attack, you're dealing a lot of damage. Now, the thing about the artifact is that you really need to max limit break this artifact, because you want to get it to 100% chance to proc. So as is base, I think if you plus 15 it goes up to 75% chance. And in order for it to be 100% chance, you need to max limit break it. So it is kind of difficult because there is no guarantee pity for artifacts on the banner. You can guarantee yourself Seaside Bellona hitting the 121 club, but there is no guarantee for the artifact. All right, so one great quality of life feature that they added is the ability to buy the specific banner artifact from the Powder of Knowledge shop. So you will need 240 powder in order to pick up Reingar Special Drink. However, it happens to where some of us are very unlucky and we can't get the artifact in 121 summons. You want to save for the upcoming collab. You want to save for the new summer Iceria, which is coming soon. So you don't want to waste bookmarks. Another way you can get Reingar Special Drink is spending 240 powder. Make sure you sell your 3-star artifacts that you aren't using, potentially 4-star artifacts that you aren't using, and you'll have yourself at least one copy, which you can use your Bottle of Knowledge for. This is what I ended up doing. It'll take you at like, what, 6 months to fully limit break Reingar Special Drink. But that's just the life of the free-to-play. So you can always buy one copy of Reingar Special Drink. If you get lucky, you can always get one from your summons, but just in case you can't, you can pick one up there. All right, here we go. Here is what I usually run for Wyvern 13. So I usually have Seaside Bellona on a PvP build. I have her a little bit tankier, but when buff event hits, I usually run Wyvern 13. I'll throw on some damage dealer gear on her, and as you can see here, I've kind of stacked on the crit damage. When buff events are on, especially for hunts, it's a lot easier for me just to switch the gear for the buff event and then switch back. However, just keep in mind that it is going to take some gold. So for example, here it's going to take me 400k gold in order to switch this out. That's about 10 Wyvern runs, but to me, that's fine. That's okay. I'll just put all this gear back when I'm done with the buff event. But for Wyvern, you want at least 85 crit, as much crit damage, at least 65% effectiveness, and then everything else into attack. You can be, I would say, at least 150 and up speed. I've been having fairly good success with like the 170-ish mark, but I do run G-Perg in the front line, which helps. So you definitely don't need 200 speed. You can definitely get away with a lot less. Or if you're running Angie with Idol's Cheer or another Soul Weaver with Idol's Cheer, you can get away with not running as much speed. So I do use Daydream Joker. I do rely on that heavily. That's why you see a lot of crit damage here. I'm counting on her for the debuffs and for the damage. Helps to speed up the clear. All right, but let's talk about early game Wyvern 13. So I'm gonna put up a very blurry image here, and just to show you what I was rocking with when Seaside Bellona, I believe, first came out. And it's very, very blurry, so I'll go ahead and read it out loud to you. She had, and this was Wyvern 13 plus 14 Daydream Joker, keep in mind. She was at 78 crit, 265 crit damage, 55 effectiveness, 129 speed, and 3.7k attack. It's very bad, okay? But she was free to play gear only. I would bring her into GVG and Wyvern. I think she helped me get into Wyvern 13, which was really nice. However, since then I've switched out her gear, but we'll take a look at what a free to play early game might look like as far as a build. I did throw on, I have an attack set. All of this is free gear that you get from the game. That helmet, I believe, is from Hell Raid that you can get. And then everything else is either from Side Story or Arena. But you'll see there, I have 127 speed if I'm running G-Perg in the front line. Speed doesn't really matter. You can even get away with running 0 speed on her. But she is 77 crit, 265 crit damage. I won't be critting as often, but then again, I want her there for the debuffs, right? So I have at least 65% effectiveness. With that effectiveness, it's gonna help me land the defense breaks, her target on the S1 and all her debuffs on the S3, and then everything else into attack. The attack set is helping a lot, so I will be able to deal a lot of damage when I am critting. So just keep in mind that you can definitely go something free to play and then transition later on to kind of like a mid-game, end-game build, and we'll take a look at what that looks like here. Okay, so we got next up kind of like an early / mid-game build, and I was running something like this when she first came out. Now, I would say Lifesteal is an end-game build. However, this free-to-play gear is in the game. You can get it from completing Abyss. So if eventually you end up climbing the Abyss, you'll be able to pick up all that gear. Right now it's on Champion Zerato, but take a look at the stats. So she does have some bulk. So I'm transitioning over from damage to bulkiness. She's at 1300 defense, 12k HP, so some bulk there, 4k attack, 82 crit, 150 crit damage, 76 effectiveness. So again, all of this is free gear, but you'll notice now instead of going attack crit, I transitioned over to immunity. And immunity is very important, especially if you want to bring her into PvP, so that way she doesn't get provoked or controlled starting off, since she is very, very slow. Anyone that is faster than 200 speed, right, 180, 190, is going to potentially lock down your SSB, and you don't want that to happen. So immunity is a great way to transition from early game to mid game, even late. The Lifesteal here actually helps her heal herself, so it gives her some sustainability. She is still a little squishy with the 12k health, but she does have that damage share, which she shares, I believe, 30% of the damage that she's dealt with the front line. So that helps her. Here, she would be on a drink build. So in that image that you see there with that Lifesteal build, it's not big damage, but we're kind of banking on the attack. So higher attack deals that additional damage with drink, but again, we really want to transition over to as much crit and crit damage as possible. But this is definitely something that you can do as a free to play once you start getting your gear. And that's the great thing about Seaside Bellona, is that she is very flexible in how you build her. So here is my SSB. She's not the best. She is on a crit immunity offset. So with her, the great thing about her is that you can kind of throw whatever you want on her, whatever you have in order to get those stats. Ideally, she would be what, like 1.4k and up defense, 17k and up health, 3.5k attack, and as much crit damage as possible. I have her on a slightly higher effectiveness build. Ideally, I would want more bulk, more attack, but with this 85 crit, it guarantees that I'll hit fire units. Everyone else, it's gonna be a whatever. She's there just to put pressure and deal some damage. I have 220 crit damage. You can get this a lot higher, especially if you're going specifically crafting gear for her. I do have her on a max limit broken drink, so I am guaranteeing myself dealing additional damage. It's only 3.4k, but with the 85 crit and the 220 crit damage, it guarantees that I'm going to do a little bit more damage than if I went 0 crit. I do have a little bit of speed on her just to ensure that she at least gets a turn. I've tried the 0 speed build, and I don't know, I couldn't really do anything with her. I felt that after maybe she was stripped, she really didn't do much. So at least I'll get myself 1 turn after that. Hopefully I can deal with that. But let's take a look at a few end game builds that you might consider. E7 builds, .tk put together a very nice list, and then I'll also mention the hero, I think it's like the hero book or something like that, Discord. They also have a bunch of builds, so I'll plug them in here. So make sure if you're looking for a specific build or build ideas, you can definitely take a look at these for inspiration. So the first one here is by Virocious, and this is an immunity crit set. So as you can see, a lot of bulk, a lot of health, 1500 defense, 15k health, 123 speed, so a little bit of speed, and 100 crit chance and 240 crit damage, 3.5k attack. So this is a very, very nice Seaside Bellona, has decent bulk. Everything else, she is going to be critting 100% of the time and dealing some damage on Reingar's special drink. Let's take a look at a Lifesteal immunity one. So this one is something that has been a bit more popular recently as an end game build, just because it helps her with sustain. So it keeps her alive just a little bit longer. And as you can see, it's similar bulk, a little bit lower attack, but still 100 crit and crit damage, a little bit of effectiveness. So this 27 effectiveness actually lets me know that she is triple S, okay? Because you get 27 effectiveness from triple S-ing your SSB. So just kind of keep that in mind. So it's actually 0 effectiveness and then everything else up here. So this build is going to be a very end game build, which is going to help deal as much damage as possible and keep her alive for as long as possible. So it's going to make her very difficult to take down. We do have a few more builds here. These are from the Discord. And again, I'll link it in the description. If you're curious, feel free to go in. This is what I use all the time just for inspiration to get some ideas of what I can build. And this SSB is actually on Proof of Valor. She is on a speed set though, with an immunity set. And as you can see here, she is 201 speed. She is lower on the bulk, but she does have 98 crit, 250 crit damage. So she's gonna go and at least take 1 turn before someone takes her out. She is very tanky with that plus 30 Proof of Valor. So that lower bulk is not that big of a deal because of that Proof of Valor. So it's gonna help her survive at least turn 1. And then she has that damage mitigation or damage sharing with the 30% from her passive. Here's another SSB. Here's another Lifesteal build. This is like a super endgame build. Something that I'll probably never achieve, but as you can see, very high bulk, 1600, almost 1700 defense, 15k HP, 123 speed, and then 93 crit, 260, 270 crit damage with some effectiveness. And again, this is going to be very difficult to take down. Last but not least here, we got something similar to what I have. Of course, this is much better because it's 100% crit, but you got 0 speed here. She is on a 2 crit set with immunity, 1500 defense, 16k HP, 3600 attack, 240 crit damage, and 100% crit chance. So something to keep in mind that you can really build her however you'd like. It just really depends on what you have available and what you want to do with her. All right, that's gonna be it for me. That's gonna be the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts about Seaside Bellona. How many copies did you get? Hopefully, I highly recommend that you pull at least one. Get yourself that one copy of Reingar's drink, because you never know who else or what other units might end up using that artifact, and it might be OP on. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. Let me know how it went. Did you hit pity? Did you get her in 3 pools, 2 pools, 1 pool? Like always, if you happen to enjoy the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hey, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.